Hey, what's up, friends? Mike Myers here with the Songwriting for Guitar podcast, episode number 44.
Dreams versus goals.
But before we get into today's episode, I just wanted to say thank you for listening because we have just reached 10,000 downloads, which is insane. 44 episodes in, we've had some incredible guests. And if you've been listening or you've just started listening, thank you. That literally means so much to me. And I want to thank everyone who's gone to Apple Podcasts and left an amazing review. I read them all. And those reviews help. It helps elevate the podcast, brings more notice to it. So if you've been enjoying this podcast and you haven't yet, be sure to head on over there, write a review of your favorite episode, and share this podcast with your friends because I think everyone needs more rad podcasts in their life, especially now. So Apple Podcasts, write a review, and thank you for listening. So a few weeks ago, I went on Facebook Live and I was talking about dreams versus goals, and it hit me how many people never move past the dream phase. Honestly, it made me really sad because I know it's possible to move past it. And I'm so tired of seeing songwriters give up after running around, expending all of their energy on things that essentially just keep them running around. You know, dream phase is the initial concept of an idea where you've reached the promised land, where, you know, all the magic is and it's wonderful and it's possible. You're floating on air because everything has worked out somehow. And don't get me wrong. I love dreaming. I love creatively imagining things and imagining the future. So this is not me saying don't dream. So I don't want you going away going, Mike says don't dream, stop it. No. The problem with the dream phase is that you don't know how you got there. All the tangible steps didn't happen. It's just you imagining, and you can insert the heavenly choir of angels singing, I'm finally here and it's glorious. But the issue is dreamers tend not to make it past the dream phase. They're always there. The dream phase can end up being an addicting trap because of that initial spark of excitement. You keep running around hoping something will catch, but we need more than excitement and good feelings to make that flame ignite. Now, the dream phase can sound like this sentence. I made a living in music, I'm there, and I'm experiencing a successful career. Now, okay, that's awesome. Let's dissect, where did that come from? What does that all mean? What does that sentence mean? Well, if we edit that thought and bring it into a goal of mindset, now it turns into, I want to make a tangible living and a viable income off of music, doing a couple of things, insert what they are. The goal phase just turned from a spark into a flame because now we're getting specific. So what do you want? Maybe you want to play better paid live gigs, or maybe you want to be a work for hire who's always a go-to person for vocals, guitar. Awesome. That big goal of making a sustainable income and providing you a comfortable living now produced like 3 specific goals. And when those are reached, guess what? You made your overarching goal. Now what we're going to do is take each one of those little goals that were spawned by the huge overarching goal, and we're going to work backwards. We're going to, break them down into even smaller tangible steps. So for example, let's still stick with, you want to be a work for hire. Do you have the right equipment yet? Have you been practicing to a metronome to make the recording process easier? Basically, have you been upping your game in the area that you want to work? These are typical questions that really help wrap your head around the initial idea of what you want to do. It's about producing these tangible things because when you do that, guess what? You get specific and you get more on target. Your happiness is counting on you to get focused. I've seen this so many times. So let's just call this person Doug. Now, Doug has imagined in his head, and he never got specific, but he feels like things are great. He actually does a lot of different opportunities. He's told that focusing would get him much faster to his dream, and Doug responds that he feels like he's limiting himself because he doesn't want to miss an opportunity. I saw Doug saying yes to everything. He's constantly distracted because even saying yes to things that he knows it has very little to do with what he wants to do, he thinks somehow magically it's going to work out. Doug just doesn't want to give up that great sparky feeling because in the end, isn't that what he's going for? Sure, maybe it is. But here's the problem with Doug. His time and his energy were wasted on a lot of different things. And he watched all kinds of artists succeed, not understanding why he didn't get there too. And guess what? His dream starts to fizzle out. It gets smaller and smaller until he just doesn't believe it anymore. Now Doug has reached the bitter phase. So what does a bitter phase sound like? It sounds like an angry, I guess I wasn't meant to do this. Because once you reach the bitter phase, it really takes a lot to get anywhere else. Now, don't get me wrong, it takes a lot to go from dream phase to goal phase, but it's a hell of a lot easier than going from thinking things like, the system's rigged, there's nothing good out there, I can't believe so-and-so's doing the thing, I'm probably sure they had a lot of money and time to do it, to, I can, and I really want to do this thing. In reality, you've got to flip the mindset to, I see now that they realized that they needed to focus and work on things. Now I know I need to get specific too. And that means I need to say no to a lot of things. Or I need to say yes to this thing because it aligns with what I want to do. This is important. This matters. I need to say yes to this. You get the idea. Your decision-making abilities start to get some exercise. So what's the moral of Doug's story and just this overall dreams versus goals? Dream phase and the goal phase are two completely different things. And if we aren't aware of it, it doesn't matter how nice the dream is. You're never going to get to the other side. But if you're looking to get to the other side, you recognize that you have to get specific and take some time to do this. And if you're still listening to this, something's registering with you. You're like, okay, you know what? I think I need to start doing this. And perhaps you're already doing it. So allow me to just say, keep going. Keep getting specific, writing down. And if you haven't taken the time to do that, I want you to. Because when you carve out that time to start to get specific, that's where you start making moves and you start seeing things happen. Now, if you're listening to this and you go, Mike, this is wonderful, this is great, but I don't even know where the hell to start. Here's what I want you to do. Go to songwritingforguitar.com, click work with me, and I want you to book a free discovery call. We're going to sit down for 30 minutes over Zoom, and we're going to sketch out some ideas. I'm going to help you get some clarity because sometimes that's all we need. We just need a little push. So head on over to songwritingforguitar.com, click work with me, and book your free discovery call. That does it for this week's episode. It was edited and produced by Chris Fafalius. I'm Mike Myers. Thanks for listening.